And we're back. Welcome, everybody, to another week of Yards After the Catch podcast. I'm your host, Big Al. Week 6, we're rolling in deep. I got my boys tonight, Mark, Rob, and CJ. What's going on, gentlemen? How we doing?
Good,
Doing
brother.
great.
How are you?
You already know what it is. It's Godzilla, baby.
Hell yeah.
Happy to join you guys for the first time. Looking forward to some good conversation.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, Mark, introduce yourself to the fans. My bad.
Yeah, so my name is Mark Howes. I'm from Connecticut, from the same town as Alex and Robert here. So we've known each other for probably like 25 years. So this conversation's been a long time coming. If you can't tell, I'm a Bills fan. I'm from
Tough week to come in on. Tough week to come in on.
Hey, I still got my jersey on. We're hitting the bye at the perfect time. And I don't know what to think exactly right now. So I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful. Just go ahead and burn that jersey.
Oh, whoa.
My Cole Beasley jersey? Are you kidding me?
Talk about grit.
Well, we got plenty of football talk to talk shit tonight. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start with some week 6 recap fun. We're gonna start with last Thursday night, New York Giants. Stunning upset to the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champs. Guys, right out the gate, I mean, no one saw this coming. I saw the spread. I was like, what are your first impressions? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everyone was surprised, obviously, that the Giants won this game. But I think the even more surprising part was they kind of dominated it, which definitely didn't expect that at all. I mean, looks like they got a quarterback. I mean, looks like Jackson Dart is that guy. I mean, Scatabo is going to be a fun player in the league for the next 6 years until whatever catastrophic injury that guy's due for. I mean, geez, the way he runs is fun, but it's going to be a short-lived life in the NFL for him. But yeah, I mean, a lot of questions coming out of Philly now with Hurts looked pretty average, I would say. I mean, definitely didn't look like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But yeah, I would say stock is up for the Giants. I actually wanted A. Young to be on this week because I really wanted to see just how off his rocker he was with Jackson Dart at this point.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that Jackson Dart and Scatabo could really form a pretty serious two-headed monster in the Giants offense. I mean, they both had that running ability, and they're both a little reckless. So it's almost like be careful. I mean, Jackson Dart kind of almost, I don't know, he was almost out of the game after that hit he took. Yep. So it's like looks good, but let's learn how to slide and maybe just protect yourself better. And but at the same time, it's like, what if they had Malik Neighbors? Like, would they be
a lot more fun?
Would they be actually competing in this division? Because I think they're exciting, but I don't think I see them as a playoff team right now.
Nah.
Eagles very clearly on a Super Bowl hangover right now, but I mean, it's still early. Their roster is still arguably the best in the NFL. I think they're just working through some things. Does A.J. Brown get traded? I don't know. If he wants to come to the Bills, he can get a first-class flight to Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
So he can burn his jersey too?
Yeah, the Philadelphia one. Yeah.
So I thought it was a very interesting game. I actually did not think that the Eagles were going to lose this one. I thought they were going to come back from a disappointing loss and then take this one. But 2 back-to-back losses. Now the question here is, do we write home about this? You know what I'm saying? Do we start analyzing these? I say it could be a gimme. They could be like it's the Giants or whatever. But now what you could have done was possibly give fire to an emerging team. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, it certainly could be, the growing pains of like an emerging team that's just completely undervalued. I think it's just divisional bad blood that's caught in a short week, combined with Philadelphia having some serious woes internally with that offense. I mean, we were talking about how underwhelming they were against Tampa. They couldn't move the ball. They were probably, I think, under 250 yards total offense. So they have some real issues to address, and it's going to be a long road before they repeat. Before we move on, as we sit now, where are you guys on a confidence level with Philadelphia?
65%.
To repeat?
65%.
Okay.
With the way they're playing right now, their defense seems like there's injuries, but even without the injuries, it seems like a step slower. Saquon seems like he's playing with like heavier feet, and there's just some offensive like issues going on there. You seen that sideline spat. Whatever they got going on, they need to fix that, work that out, get that shit settled.
Yep.
Settled.
I think they'll ultimately still be fine. I think that they're a team that just knows how to win football games at the end of the day. So they're going to play enough games where I still think they're going to be – I still would put them to win the NFC East, honestly, in my opinion, especially with how the Commanders looked the other night on Monday. So I don't think it's time to really panic yet.
Yeah, I agree. I still see them as winning the division, playing the home playoff game, and probably winning that first playoff game. I think the divisional round is where it might get tricky for them. You got teams like Tampa, who has beat them in the playoffs before. The Rams are frisky. The Lions are frisky. So
And those
it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee this year.
those last three named teams that you named, they're all looking feisty this year.
Oh yeah.
Like Baker's an MVP candidate. Like it's looking really strong. So it's like, what are we gonna do here? Like, are we gonna tighten this up? Because they're not running up and down teams' throats like they were last year. Is it an offensive line issue? Is somebody hurt? We gotta figure this out.
Yeah. No, good stuff, guys. Something to keep an eye on for the rest of the year. Moving on, I want to move down to Miami, where the Chargers came into town down 3 points. I'm sorry, down 1 point. Ladd McConkey, 20-plus yard catch and run, puts them into field goal range. They squeak out a win on the road by 29-27 over Miami Dolphins. Miami's in full tank mode already at this point. Chargers move to 4-2, stay atop of the division with Denver. So what do you guys think about this game?
I think that we should keep an eye on the Chargers and not in the way that you think. I feel like there's something wrong with this team. They're putting up numbers, but something's not looking good here. Like, I feel like they should have killed a weak Miami team. Like, no Tyreek Hill. Like, if they traded Jonnu Smith, like Minka Who Fitzpatrick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to figure out. We need to figure out if this team is actually a lot more mediocre than we're giving them credit to be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Chargers, they needed a win after losing 2 games in a row, and they beat the Dolphins on a last-minute field goal. And it's like, of course, week 1, you can't get fooled by week 1, but they might have looked like the best team in the AFC down in Brazil. But
Tua didn't even get 9 points, I think, in fantasy, or 10 points in fantasy. That lets you know. That lets you know how bad that Dolphins team is right now.
Yeah.
To be squeaking to win out by a field goal is crazy.
Yeah, and they got the Colts next, so that's tough.
I think they lose that game.
I think they lose that game too. The Colts are impressing me right now. I mean, Miami is competitive. They've taken the Chargers late. They took the Bills to a pretty late game a few weeks ago, and but they just need to clean house. McDaniel needs to go. Tua is just atrocious in press conference. I feel like he just called out his players for showing up to player-only meetings late when he did the same thing a few years back. Deshaun Hamilton had a cup of coffee with the Dolphins, was talking about that.
Great point.
So it's just, I just think it's the end of the road for the McDaniel Tua era, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, McDaniel is, let's call it for what he is. That guy is an offensive coordinator. Like, he is not a guy that's going to lead a group of men basically into battle, which is NFL football, you know? Like, you're not going to look at that guy and be inspired by him, at least in my opinion. So I get that guy an offensive coordinator job somewhere, and I think he is pretty good at drawing up an offense. Obviously, you saw that the first couple of years with Tyreek and Waddle and Tua. Like they really had something for a little bit there, or at least it looked like it had potential to be. So honestly, I didn't get to watch much of this game, but as I was driving home and I had the Patriots game on in the background, and the Dolphins hit that go-ahead field goal. And honestly, I had just assumed they won. And the thing that struck me about it was I was not surprised the Chargers lost. So that's just kind of my broad view of them right now. Like any given week, that Chargers team could just look bad. And I was giving Herbert a lot of praise the first couple of weeks too. And I think he hasn't really done much either.
I've got a love hate thing with Herbert. I had it last year, got it this year. I have it every year since his rookie year. Well, since after his rookie year, because his rookie year he looked phenomenal. And I'm thinking, this guy Herbert, he's gonna take the Chargers somewhere. And the only where he's taking them into mediocrity. Like I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, he's no Drake May, that's for sure.
Drake is looking like a stud. I hate
that was coming. Yeah, we'll get a little more into the AFC West and NFC West talk later in the show, and I think that was all great overview of where they kind of sit at the top of the division right now, because not all 4 and 2s are created equal. So I think it's certainly something to keep an eye on. I do want to shift over to San Fran, Tampa Bay, one of the most electric games of the weekend. Baker with another stellar performance. Let's get into it. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Mark.
All right. I just feel like the Bucs are kind of emerging as like a really true contender in the NFC.
Yep.
I mean, they've quietly been handling that division for like I think 4 of the past 5 years, and now it's like Baker is playing the best football of his career, even without his top 3 options. He's finding Tez Johnson in the end zone for an unreal throw and catch, and he's looking like the MVP so far. I mean, that 2018 QB class is looking pretty good as of late, with Darnold and Baker kind of showing up late. And the Niners, they're competitive, even with injuries at quarterback and skill position players. But I don't see them really hanging on to this division lead for long. I mean, they got the Rams, they got the Seahawks in the same division. So, I think Tampa is trending up and San Fran is trending down.
I feel that Tampa Bay is looking real good. The issue I have with them right now is injuries, and it's gonna be a big thing. I don't know how long Bucky's out for, and I don't even know if Emeka, I can't even say his name. Egbuka.
Yep.
I don't know if he's gonna be out for like how long is he gonna be out, but I know he did get injured that game. So the question here remains is he can find those options, but how long can that last? How much Baker magic is in the tank? You know, how many games is he gonna have to will a 30-yard run, will like 4 broken tackles to the first down? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I want to believe in the Bucs because I do really like Baker. Like I like the fact that guy went through. I mean, he was basically a couple of teams away from being out of the league at one point, and obviously him going back to the Rams and that kind of reviving his career. I want to believe that they're legit. Now, kind of like CJ was saying, like the injuries are starting to add up, and at a certain point, like Baker can be as good as he wants, but when Chris Godwin is always hurt, Evans is hurt, Egbuka's hurt, Bucky Irving, like his I mean, I pretty much just named his top 4 playmakers right there. So if all of them are going to be out for like extended periods of time, it's going to be tough. And honestly, we're going to learn a lot about them these next coming weeks. I'm just looking at their schedule now. This week they're at the Lions, then at Saints, bye week, and then they have a pretty tough 3-game stretch. Home against the Patriots, at the Bills, and at the Rams. So I think at the end of these next 5 games, we're going to have a really good idea of just how legit this Buccaneers team is.
I can see them coming out of that 2-3 stretch.
Yeah,
that
I
stretch
agree.
2-3.
Yeah.
Literally, probably a win against the Patriots, but Drake May is looking like a fucking stud. He's looking like a better version of Baker. It's kind of weird, you
Yeah.
know.
It,
Not a yeah, or let's say a taller version of Baker. Let's say that.
yeah.
Um, um, and Spencer Rattler has been playing like a stud, but they've been losing games. So I can see them taking that game very easily. But um,
Saints are a feisty 1-5 team. I have to say, the Patriots played them last week. I know Mark's Bills played them the week before.
Yeah, they surprised me. I think Kellen Moore is kind of not working with many ingredients, but figuring something out. Rattler has a big arm, and he's running the ball really well too. And it's like you still got Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave. Yeah, they're 1-5, but I don't think their record indicates their true talent.
Exactly. They're
They're
playing
playing.
like fucking studs. And it's like they could fucking sneak out a win. They're 1-5. They're not 0-6. You know?
Through that.
So
Yeah, right now, just to follow up on CJ's point too, Bucky Irving is set to return approximately after next week, so 1 to 2 more weeks with the injury. It's going to be Bull's call, of course, at the end of the day. But I am circling that November 23rd game because I think down the stretch of the season, as we get deeper, closer to playoff territory, Tampa and the Rams are going to be kind of precursors to some of my late postseason push for the NFC. So I think that game is going to be really, really important when it comes to seeding in the NFC, and we'll take it from there. I want to go down to Jacksonville, where the Seattle Seahawks come in and terrorize Jacksonville Jaguars 20-12. Not necessarily an upset. Seattle's an impressive team this year. They've had a tough road thus far, but Jacksonville was coming off of a high point win, beating KC on Monday night. Everybody was drinking the Kool-Aid. So what do you guys think of this game, and where do we see these two teams after week 6?
I feel like Jacksonville suffers from can't get right. Like they'll beat a team one week that's looking good. They'll lose to another team horrendously. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. is a shell of his former year, like his former self from last year. But he did have some good bursts throughout the season. And Travis Etienne is just like running up and down like the field. So when they take certain losses, it's hard to understand why. But when they win, you can see it. But it's like when it comes down to it, like Sam Darnold's playing like a fucking man possessed. Like we thought he was doing something last year. This year, it's like he's doing it with, I want to say, less offensive pieces, but I would say like a better structured offense.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, I
or
agree.
or offense suited for his play style. And Smith and Jigba is just a fucking stud, bro.
Yeah, that guy's the man.
Yeah, he's leading the league in receiving right now. And I always thought he was like a pure slot, but like clearly not. He's catching these deep balls from Darnold, and you can kind of see why Seattle is ready to move on from Geno and turn the page to Darnold. Because I mean, they're looking great right now, and the Jags, it looks like they're ready to arrive, but still need some time. I mean, you beat the big dogs and the Chiefs, but you can't take care of still a Seattle team that is figuring things out. I mean, it's still a new quarterback, but they can't take advantage of that. So, yeah, I think Seattle is kind of solidifying themselves as a potential division winner in the NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of just the story of Trevor Lawrence's career, where he has a good performance and then all of a sudden just a stinker the next week. Putting up 12 points at home. Can't have it from your franchise guy. You really just can't. So, same thing where I really didn't get to watch much of this game. So, I don't have too much to add other than I think that Jags have this London game, and most people know that's basically a home game for them. So
Yeah.
they have so many fans overseas. So maybe if they beat the Rams this week, it'll be kind of like this week won't as matter as much. But I mean, let's be honest. I think we'll all probably lean in the Rams in that game too. So
We are, but it's like the Jags are that type of team where it's like they'll sneak out that weird ass win against the freaking
Right.
the
Yeah, they'll win
Rams.
on like a safety or something stupid, because it's in London at 9:30.
Yeah, those games get weird.
Yeah, no, all good stuff, guys. I think there's a lot of answers to be had with both of these teams and which directions they're going. I think with Seattle, what's interesting is you lose on a heartbreaker to Tampa the week before. This team could be 5-1. They could have literally the best record in football. To think that they're right there is kind of a testament to how tough that NFC West is right now. And if Jacksonville can take one off of the Rams next week, who knows? I mean, it could be a really interesting shakeup at the top of that division, and something we'll get into later in the show. I do want to move to the Sunday night game where we had Detroit Lions going into Kansas City. Kansas City taking care of business. Looked like the team of old, the championship team that we used to know. They're starting to come back with all their forces, with Worthy and so on. The receivers are getting their legs back, so they take care of business, 30-17. What do you guys think of this game? Where do we stand in this game?
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like the Chiefs are kind of rounding back into the Chiefs. There was definitely a couple of weeks there where I was like, I don't know, Kelsey's old and Chris Jones is old, so that might have been more wishful thinking than reality. But honestly, it was a very impressive win by them, and
Very
it
impressive.
looked like it couldn't have been a more perfect start for the Lions because that very first drive, they had the ball for close to 10 minutes. I think it was like 9 minutes, and they had it right there where if they scored a touchdown there, that would have, in my opinion, would have changed the entire outlook of the game. But they end up with just the field goal, give the Chiefs that little bit of momentum, and then from there it was pretty much Kansas City all night. I mean, Mahomes looked great, and now they have Rashee Rice coming back this week, so the Chiefs are definitely they're going to end the season as probably either the 1 or 2 seed. They had a bad start, but I don't. It's not going to matter at the end of the season. It's kind of like the Patriots of old, where the first couple weeks don't matter. Just get to the playoffs and figure it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we've seen anything, it's that the Chiefs never left. Mahomes is still the guy. I know the past couple of years, you got people trying to put Lamar at the top, people trying to put Josh Allen at the top. I was never one of those people. I got to give credit to Patrick, and obviously he's shown that, he didn't go anywhere. And it's Rashee Rice is back next week, his top target when he was playing with him, and I don't know. It's looking like more of the same. And for Detroit, it seems like they're still kind of trying to figure things out with their new coordinators. I mean, they're more competitive than I thought they would be, but it's looking like maybe moving on from Aaron Glenn is a better thing than sticking with him at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. He looked like he was going to be. I mean, it's the Jets, so never really can tell. But it looked like he was going to be a good culture change for them. But just the Jets being the Jets.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah, former player. The Lions were impressive the past couple of seasons. I mean, I know they were kind of battling injuries last year, so you didn't want to put too much blame on him. But you're kind of seeing how it's playing out with him at the helm, and I don't know if he lasts this season with the Jets.
How long has Aaron Glenn been the coach?
Just this year.
First year.
This year. Yep.
This year? Yeah. This should be like his only year as a head coach ever. Do we leave the Chiefs did we leave the Chiefs Lions game already?
No, go ahead.
Okay, real quick, just a real quick touch on it. I'm more disappointed in the Lions than impressed by the Chiefs.
Of course.
I felt like they should have put up more of a fight. And that's just how I feel like that should have went down. The Chiefs are coming back. More so they were never playing with a full hand anyways. So now everyone was talking about Chiefs panic, Chiefs panic, Chiefs panic. Well, if it's just Kelsey and then the Hollywood Brown and Juju Schuster Smith or Smith Schuster, I don't care. It's Juju and Marquise. By far.
Well, Rice is coming back.
And now they got Worthy's back, right? Now Rice is
Worthy
coming
and
back.
Rice.
Pacheco's there. Like this team is Pacheco's starting to look like he got the fucking cement out of his feet. So whatever it is, I'm more disappointed with the Lions than I am with anything because I felt like they have the offensive firepower to win that kind of game, or at least make that game a lot closer. Come down to a field goal, take it into overtime. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna see this certain games where they lack that offensive firepower against these big teams without Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think they're missing Ben Johnson, but I also think they're missing Glenn to some respect too. I think the injuries are starting to really pile up with this Detroit team. They were banged up last year. We lamented it all playoffs last year, and they got the same problem this year. I mean, they got Decker out, they got Terran Arnold, they got Maddox out, Cunningham, Joseph, Vacky, Branch, McNeil. It's really starting to add up, and many of these guys are some of their starters. So you just hope and pray that they get back to it. They have a tough schedule. It's no.
The coaching staff was gutted. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the price you pay for being a playoff team. Guys.
To be a good team, like.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll continue to monitor, Detroit as the season goes on. I think they're certainly they show you glimpses that they could be the best team in the NFC, and then they have games like this that bring them back down to earth. So it's just something that NFL stands for not for long, which is you got to reevaluate these teams week to week. Buff, we got to go to Buffalo. As much as it hurts Mark's heart, they go down to Atlanta. They lose in a tough game. A lot of turnovers in this game. A lot of missed opportunities. Atlanta does hold on to win. They beat Buffalo 24-21. I want to get your guys' thoughts on possibly one of the biggest upsets of the weekend.
Yeah, so after the Bills played the Patriots on Thursday, what was it? Sunday night, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah.
I was like, burn those uniforms, never wear them again. We're not going to turn the ball over like that because we haven't for like the past 20 games before the past two. And it's just, I don't know. I'm definitely a little concerned right now. We're hitting the bye at the perfect time. They're way too injured on defense. And, Kincaid was out and Palmer gets injured during the game. And then it's like they can't even do anything on offense. So I still have hope. I mean, it's early in the season, but we're starting to ask the questions. Is it time for McDermott and maybe even Bean to go? Because what we're not seeing is acceptable. I mean, they've had 2 game skids. Probably, I think the last 3 seasons they've had 2 game skids, but something about this one feels a little different. It's not 2021 where the Bills lost to Mac Jones as a rookie in a windstorm, and then when the Patriots throw the ball 3 times in the whole game. Drake May is that guy. I think he's going to end the season as a top 10 guy, and I've been calling him Josh Jr. since he came out. He's kind of starting to look like that.
Drake and Josh.
That's it.
Yeah. It's weird because with the Bills having Josh Allen, you always expect him to like either come back or be able to at least move the ball. And this game, it was just pretty ugly all around. I mean,
yeah,
Bijan ended up having 170 yards on the ground. The Bills defense really can't stop the run right now. I mean, the Patriots running backs were, anemic against the Saints this week, and they still had a decent game against the Bills the week before too. Yeah. So I definitely is not I think Mark said it earlier, might have been before we started, where the bye week is coming at like the perfect time right now. They're going to have a week to figure it all out, and they're going to need to come out of this bye week strong. If they don't, that's when I think it's really time for cause for concern. But I got to give some props to the Falcons too. Always a weird team just because the Falcons, they look good in some. It's almost like they're like the NFC Jacksonville Jaguars, where like some weeks they look great, and then the next week they blow it in a late game. So Penix is looking pretty good, and Bijan he's proven a lot of people right on why he probably should have been the top fantasy guy this year.
I think he's the best running back in the league right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mars, you got anything?
Yeah, predicted this fall of the Bills. Has anyone been following me? It's recorded. It is on tape. I said this was gonna happen. The fall from grace. And they have very few offensive weapons. Very few. Once the injury bug hits that offensive, like hits that offense, what you got left is James Cook and Josh Allen. You're trying to will it like you're literally trying to will the game with Peter Quill and fucking Drax the Destroyer. So you try to tell me what's going on here. Like that's literally what's going on. So solid win for the Falcons. I agree with the take. They're like the NFC's Jaguars because it's like what the hell's going on over here. But aside from that, I got nothing really much on that game.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was certainly an ugly game, and I think like what Mark said, I can't quite get there with you, bars that they're a fall from grace. I still think they're going to be fine, but I will say that they've taken 2 steps back and they're hitting the bye at the right time because there's just a lot of offensive miscues. When I look back at this game, it's like 2 of 9 on third down ain't going to cut it. The fact that they ran 12 less plays than them, they lost time of possession. They had 2 major turnovers. I mean, just every little thing went wrong, and 210 yards on the ground is not going to help with Bijan too. I mean, they're just going to run the clock down your throat.
That
So
defense hurt too.
yeah, well, it's a little bit of everything. It's mission creep. But I think ultimately, Buffalo, they regroup. They're gonna have a couple tough games out of the bye, but I think they'll be fine. They're a well-oiled machine. Last game of week 6 that we want to talk about. We can't miss it. We can't skip it because this team is now top of the AFC East. New England Patriots go down to New Orleans. They take care of business against a young Kellen Moore-led Saints team. 25-19 is your score. New Orleans 1-5. New England is top of the AFC East. Guys, where are we at with this game?
Why are you talking about this game?
Because it's Drake May's. Because Drake May's a top 3 quarterback. That's why.
No.
We're
They
gonna
beat
talk
the
about
they beat the
Steelers
Saints.
Browns.
They beat the yeah. Why are we not talking about Steelers Brown? I don't know.
Because there's a quarterback in this game, actually.
Yeah.
My quarterback 2 for 235 and 2 touchdowns. And on top of that, we're leading the AFC North. And on top of that, we're 1 of 4-1. You know what? Continue. Let's get back to Drake May. He's looking
Yeah,
like
give him his flowers. Let Rob have his flowers.
I mean, that the thing is, it was kind of an ugly game. Like the Saints held in it pretty strong. So I don't want to pretend like it was just a flawless performance. First half, Drake May literally looked like the best quarterback in the league. Second half, we couldn't move the ball. So it's kind of been a story like that throughout the year where they've had one good half, one bad half. Like against the Raiders week 1, obviously they had a good first half and an abysmal second half. So I'm all positive over here. If you told me before the season we'd be leading the AFC East week 6, I don't know. I would have assumed something horrible happened to the Bills, if you want the God's honest truth. So the fact that nothing has and the Pats are leading the AFC East feels real good. Life's just a little better when you have a good quarterback. That's what I'm starting to realize.
Pats leading the AFC East, but the Bills ain't falling from grace. All right, we got this.
Hey,
I mean,
I don't think the Pats. I still don't think the Pats win the AFC East. I think they get the wild card at the end of the season. I hope they do, though.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird game. Some weird calls. Like there was a Diggs OPI call on a touchdown pass.
That was ridiculous.
As much as I wanted that to be called back, it didn't make any sense. And so they were kind of fighting the refs on a few plays there. A little bit of a tough call at the end there with that fumble, but they figure it out. We talked about it earlier. The Saints are a lot friskier than we thought. I would have said they were the worst team in football coming into this year, especially after they have to start Spencer Rattler when they drafted Tyler Shuck in the second round.
Yep.
the Rattlers impressed me. I mean, he's played the Bills tough. He's played the Patriots tough. But they're still figuring things out. Kellen Moore, I think, he could be the right guy for the job down there. But the Patriots, I mean, Vrabel, very obviously, is a great fit. Probably should have been the head coach last year. Diggs has recovered from his ACL tear. They got some interesting pieces. If Ramondre stops fumbling the ball, they got a real good duo at running back, solid tight ends, a good receiving core made up of a couple of former Bills. So they were watching us, obviously. Yeah, no, the Patriots are in a great position, and I think they're in better position than they were in 21 when I believe they were leading division after they beat the Bills the first time. But see you in December in Foxborough.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. And the Patriots. Just a quick, brief look at their upcoming schedule as well. They got Titans, Cleveland. I mean, they got cupcakes. They're gonna be humming for a few weeks straight. Atlanta's gonna be tough, but they got them at home. And then Tampa will be a true test, November 9th. So the sky's the limit right now with New England. I think they're really striking something with Vrabel and that leadership. I think that this is just it's a well-oiled team. I think things are coming together, and you're definitely feeling the effects as much as it gets stuck in my throat saying this. Josh McDaniels in the building is helping a lot too.
Definitely.
So real quick before we talk some injury updates, I just want to get your guys' quick, brief thoughts on Cincinnati getting the trade for Joe Flacco. Early into his 40s now, he can still throw the ball. Does this move the needle for you guys, or is this kind of a nothing burger at this headline?
Nothing burger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't think it's going to really change much for the Bengals. They're going to lose a bunch of games until Burrow gets back.
That just means they won't have
this
a goose egg.
Yeah, I think it shows that they're not rolling over, but it's not enough to compete. I know there was talks about Burrow coming back in December. Just put him on ice till next year. It's not worth it.
You just got to understand that Jake Browning sucks so bad that they had to go to a retirement home to get a quarterback.
There you go. And you know what? For a retirement home, the guy's still got an arm. So, just chuck it up to T, chuck it up to Jamar, see what happens. Hey, I would love if they pulled off a couple of wins against the Ravens or the Steelers.
Yeah, and with that offensive line being Swiss cheese, they might put Flacco back in the home. So,
The illusions of grandeur.
We'll get to some shit talking. We got plenty of Steelers talk in the next segment. So before we move on, we do have some major injuries around the league. Fred Warner with the injury is a major loss for San Francisco. Part of the reason we have them kind of trending down in the NFC West. Also Puca Nacua in the NFC West as well for the Rams. Major injury. He's out for a few weeks. And Egbuka, we're keeping a monitor on that as well. He'll be back within the next couple weeks. Guys, these three injuries in particular, these are major names in the league, big players that make a big difference. So, feel free to comment on any of the situations that we have and what your thoughts are.
I'll pass.
It's kind of a year from. Go ahead.
No, I said I'll pass on this one.
Oh, okay. For me, I would say it's got to be the Fred Warner one, just because.
Yeah.
Fred, honestly, him being that leader of that defense, and the fact that it's kind of the year for hell for the Niners at this point, with what they've been dealing with Purdy and other injuries, and now the unquestioned leader of their defense is out for the year, and hopefully he can come back from it. But that was a nasty injury too.
Fractured, dislocated right ankle.
Yeah,
that's not a good one.
Nope.
Nasty stuff. I think he's been the best linebacker in the league for probably the past 5 seasons, and it's like the Niners lose their quarterback on offense and they're still able to figure it out, but you lose your quarterback on defense and middle linebacker, I'm not so certain. So yeah, I think he is definitely the worst injury of the bunch. Egbuka, it sounds like he's not going to be on IR, so he should be back within 3 or 4 weeks at the most. And Nacua, I'm seeing is day to day. So it doesn't seem like they're as serious, but I mean, Egbuka's looked like the best rookie wide receiver in a wide receiver class that I don't think was super hyped coming out. So he's definitely being missed in Tampa Bay, but Baker's still figuring it out, and
Yeah.
the Rams still got Devontae Adams, and I think those teams are going to be all right. The Niners definitely, that's a little scary for them.
Sure. I mean, Puca, is like what? I want to say second or third leading receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, he's up
Production
there.
wise, yeah. Third.
So let's hope he gets back because he's
Yeah.
obviously a major driving force on that offense. Like they do have Devontae, but teams are going to figure that out. You know, it was a threat of having Puka and Devontae, and then Kyron could possibly plus one. So that was the main threat of that offense. They need Puka back, and hopefully he stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument between Ibuka and Nacua for me as kind of the two catalysts, like who have the highest plus minus impact with their injury and then
Agreed.
off the field. And the only reason I don't say that about Warner is because I think they have enough ways for Salah to run that defense with the injuries that they can continue to keep humming. And if they lose out on the season, they really lose out on the season. I don't think it's a wash or an indictment on Shanahan. I think it's more just so the injuries just add up so much more. But I think with Nacua, you're going to feel that. You're going to see that on the field immediately. And I think Baker continues to find ways to win with other guys. And so I think that ultimately, like that seems to be the most consequential injury as of now, and things could change. It's a very scheduled week to weeks league, but I appreciate your guys' thoughts on some of those injury updates because I think it's important to kind of take inventory on, like, who's not playing and who is playing. So before we pick our superlatives for the week, we have offensive and defensive player performance of the week. I do want to talk a little AFC and NFC West talk. It's something I like to do on this show because I think it's good to keep tabs on where the division is at the top. What's most competitive, what's some of the biggest, shakeups. We're a third of the way into the season now after 6 weeks. Right now, as the NFC stands, we have 3 teams tied at 4-2. Many we've already talked about on this show. The Rams, Seattle, and San Francisco at the top. Arizona measly 2-4, but they're not out of it yet. So I want to open up the floor and you guys talk some NFC West. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Niners, Seahawks, and Rams all being 4-2. Just my gut reaction, I think Seahawks end up winning this division. I mean, it's kind of like we just talked about with the Niners, where it started to kind of turn into a year for hell from them. And now with Nacua, even though it isn't as serious as an injury, I just think that Seattle's home crowd just gives them so much more of an advantage compared to that LA crowd. Like the Rams, they have McVay, so they're always going to be good offensively, but I just think Seattle ends up winning at end of the year.
I feel like I say actually the Rams probably take it at the end of the year because like it's still a fresh offense with Sam Darnold and they are losing, like they're both losing some games, but I feel like when it comes down to it, if like when you come down to like whose team is down and it really needs it, I feel like Stafford has more fight in him than Darnold does. With more, especially with
Fair.
more come back from behind victories for like fourth quarter comebacks. But I think Matthew and pardon me, a few right after that Super Bowl win, the question was, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer? We're not asking that question anymore now because Matthew Stafford has proven himself time and time again since joining the Rams that he's a playoff quarterback. They've been in the playoffs since. They've been doing this. They've got, you know what I'm saying? Like they got the
They won
mark
a
of the
title.
proof. Exactly. So it's like, and it's like I would say that I'm gonna give it to the Rams because of experience, McVay and Stafford. Like Darnold is they're fresh over there. I don't know how long that head coach has been over there. What, it's like 1 or 2 years now. There's still chemistry that need for the Seahawks.
Oh,
Maybe the second year.
yeah.
Second year.
Yeah.
So it's still chemistry building with everything. I feel like they're gonna be like vying for that number 1 spot, but ultimately lose out to the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Stafford is still the better quarterback, but really at this point in his career, I think the question is he going to stay on the field for the whole season or when it really matters?
Point.
So I could almost see it as like Seattle wins the division, Rams get a wild card, but they still figure it out in the playoffs and maybe get farther than the Seahawks. But I want to focus on the basement dwellers right now, the Cardinals. I think they have pieces. I thought this was maybe the year they show up, but like each passing year, especially with Kyler, it's like, does this guy even want to play football? Like, I thought coming out, he was one of the most dynamic athletes in the league with a crazy arm for his size and probably like the fastest player on the field in most games he plays. And I just don't think he has the heart to be a competitive quarterback in the league right now. I know coming out, he was like drafted in the MLB, and people were like, "Oh, does he really like football?" And I think that was a valid question because we're seeing the fruition of that. And Jonathan Gannon, I mean, you compare him with Shane Steichen, the coordinators that came out of the Eagles Super Bowl team against the Chiefs years ago. I mean, Shane Steichen is doing way better in Indianapolis than Gannon is doing in Arizona. So I think the Kyler Gannon era is probably coming to an end. Niners in first still, but not for long, like we talked about. So yeah, we're thinking it's Seattle and the Rams for the division.
I think the Kyler era is coming to an end in general, and I'm glad you brought the Cardinals up. Jacoby Brissett had a good game, you know what I'm saying, and we got to kind of look at it at some point where it's like, what is going on with the Cardinals? Like, do we sit down Kyler Murray and get a quarterback for the future? Marvin Harrison was quite in question for a while. Marvin Harrison had like a 90-yard game. Like he had two good games back to back, and it's looking like this team has all the pieces it needs to win when it comes down to like a middle of the pack offense, a middle of the pack defense. Like they can do it. Like they can be a sneaky wild card team. But to touch on what you said earlier, I believe that the Rams would win the division, but then the Seahawks would get the wild card and then ultimately show out and probably take the Rams down in the playoffs.
So I got the opposite, like kind of like Mark alluded to. I think that I like Mike McDonald as the coach up there in Seattle. I think he's done a great job. I think that they're the classic overachievers in the regular season. They can take 2 games off the Rams if need be, but I think ultimately the Rams have the championship pedigree, like we talked about. I trust McVay at the end of the day. I trust Stafford. I trust Donald. I trust that offense. And as long as they can keep a ground game, keep the other teams off the field, I think they control the clock. Their defense is good enough to hold teams under, 20 points. I think that they're the better bet to make the NFC Championship, if you ask me. But only time will tell. And I'm glad you put your thoughts in, CJ, about the Cardinals, because I know that you had alluded to them as kind of like a fringe NFC wildcard team at the early beginning of the year. Yeah, I think a lot of us are kind of drinking that Kool-Aid too. They had flashes of brilliance so far, but yeah. I want to switch over to the other conference, the AFC West. We have a similar situation at the top with the Chargers and the Broncos splitting at 4-2. Both teams have had their ups and downs, their set of challenges. One team is trending versus the other. The Chiefs sitting there at 500. They look hotter than ever. And my lovable losers at the bottom, the Las Vegas Raiders, are 2-4. So, real quick, briefly, AFC West talk. What do you guys got?
Throw the Raiders out. No offense, bro.
That's fine.
I'm just so fine. throw the Raiders out. Let's not drink the Chiefs Kool-Aid just yet. Bo Nix is a wash, if you ask me. I feel like he had a really good season, but he's really overrated. And that just goes the same thing that he's gonna have a Justin Herbert-esque, and it's funny because he's the other quarterback here, but he's gonna have a Justin Herbert-esque career where he's gonna show you these big flashes, but then a lot of mediocre shit.
Yeah, I think this might just be everyone wanted a different team to win the AFC West this year other than the Chiefs. And quite frankly, I think they're just going to win it. Like, like the Chargers, I think Mark said it earlier, they play the Colts next week. I think the Colts end up probably winning that game. And
Bad.
yeah, I just think the Chiefs are just going to end up running away with it at the end. As boring as that may be, they're playing the Raiders this week. So, I mean, might as well just put that one on the board. Sorry, Alex. But
It's a buy. Yeah, it's a buy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like 44 to like
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, I might get ugly there. But but yeah, I think it's boring to say, but I think the Chiefs just end up winning it again, honestly.
I'm with the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, it is boring. I almost think we have to stop drinking the Chargers and Broncos Kool-Aid because these teams have been getting hyped up a lot too, especially with the starts they had and the kind of slow start that Kansas City had. But I think this week kind of solidified in a lot of people's minds, like, all right, we kind of know the hierarchy here. Chargers and Denver, kind of a toss-up for 2 and 3, I'd say. I think I see one, if not both of them, wild card teams. But it's just LA kind of had that 2-game skid, barely beating the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Denver beats Philly, but then is hanging around with the Jets. It's like
No,
not enough consistency to sell me yet. And love you, Alex, but Dino's gotta go.
I agree with Mark. I feel that it's gonna come down to like the Chargers and the Broncos. You feel me? And ultimately, I don't care which one of them wins. Like they both are like gonna be mediocre. Like one has an outstanding offense, one has a phenomenal defense. Like if you got them on fantasy, then you should know that the Broncos defense is nothing to be fucked with. But at the end of the day, it's like we don't want to drink the Chiefs Kool-Aid, but we want to. We don't. The Broncos look somewhere, but they not. The Chargers are the Chargers. Like, what are we doing here? I almost want the Raiders to just make a sudden burst after a bye week or something.
they'll give you a nice dub on your TV screen once in a while.
Last week.
Hell yeah. Yeah, beating Cam Ward by his own arm. Yeah, it's great.
I like my TV too much to watch a Raiders game on it.
I don't blame you, dude. I get the same feedback from everybody else. But
Well, how do you end up as a Raiders fan in Connecticut, man? I just like,
hey, we're a fan base without a homeland. I tell you, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think all good stuff. I would tend to lean towards Denver as that second best team in the AFC West, only because that defense is something you can count on when it gets colder. They tend to have a better ground game. Chargers just continue to stay an unproven commodity for me. They're hot like at the wrong time. I think Harbaugh is very fair weather, even though I did like him back in college. And they always have the injury bug. So I would, for those reasons, I would tend to lean towards Shane. Wow, I can't even speak tonight. I would tend to lean towards Sean Payton in Denver as that second best team, but ultimately I think KC gets back to the top of that division. Especially when you consider like the struggles that like Buffalo and some of the perennial AFC, heavyweights have had. It's like there's no one else you can really count on in the AFC the way you did last year and 2 years ago. So all good stuff, guys. I do want to move on to superlatives of the week. We have an offensive performance of the week. I'll switch things up and kick things off here. I thought the star performer of the week was Jonathan Taylor. 21 carries, $123 on the ground, 137 overall. He had a nice touchdown and almost had 6 yards of carry. I thought they had a huge win to keep that hot streak going for Indy. That team is rolling. He's a big part of it. He's my offensive player of the week. I want to go to Robert here. What do you got?
I mentioned it before, but Bijan Robinson, 170 yards.
Yep.
Monday Night Football looked amazing.
How could you not give it to Bijan? No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking to you, Rob. I'm just. This is my take. Yeah, and then like all-purpose yards. Yeah, Bijan killed it.
So I got offensively. I have Patrick Mahomes. I think he just played a real clean game. 4 total touchdowns, over 250 passing yards, 30 rush yards, and a score. he just looked like vintage Mahomes that we kind of always knew was still there, but we kind of had to see it to believe it. I will give an honorable mention to Rico Dowdle though, because he set a record having the most yards against his former team in a first game against them. It was like almost like 200 or something. So
Yeah.
Oh, he broke. Wait, I thought Judy had that record though.
Did he?
I
think
saw
for
that.
Washington.
I saw that this week. So
No, props to that. That's a great call though. It's such a weird stat to have like retributional characteristics and categories, but no, definitely standout performances all around. We definitely take Mahomes for granted as much as some of us hate him more than others. I think that he's just played a perfect, like Mark said, played a clean game. Won a game that was a must win for them to continue to keep getting back to the top that division. And in Detroit's nothing to sneeze at, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, moving over conversely to the defensive plays of the week, I did have Shamari Connor, 12 total tackles and assists, second highest plus minus in player football focus on the defensive side of the ball. I thought that he was just unbelievable for KC, kind of to continue what we were talking about with that impressive win. I want to go to Mark on this one. First off, for defensive performances of the week.
for defensive performance of the week, I have outside linebacker Nate Herbig of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nick Herbig, and go ahead.
It's not Nate. It's
Nate was his offensive lineman brother.
oh,
Okay.
Thank you for that. 6
Also a
pressures,
Steeler, former
two-
Eagle.
6 pressures, 2 sacks, 2 QB hits. The defense didn't allow a TD. I mean, this guy was all over the place.
Fun fact. Dylan Gabriel and Nick Herbig have history in high school football, and Nick Herbig was a menace that game too.
That's funny.
Bars, what do you got? Player of the week.
I'm cheating. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Steelers defense. 6 QB sacks, 35 hits, I think. And I don't know. I counted at least myself. I have to go back and look at the stats. I don't got it in front of me. 4 pass breakups. And that's just the low end. But I put the whole defense on there because Jalen Ramsey got his first 2-sack game. Nick Herbig cleaned up. Rookie Derek Harmon was looking really great. But when you look at it, it's the 35 QB pressures. Like it's just all around great performance. A lot of dropped interceptions, a lot of missed takeaways, but it's like it shows me that they're on the cusp. And if I had to pick someone from that defense to most likely like give that to, it would be Nick Herbig, but I got to give it to rookie Derek Harmon because he like if you go back, you look at that all 22, he's just like destroying offensive lines. And it's not just this Browns game. It's been a long time coming. He got a sack this game, and I think he's like on a 2-game sack streak. So it's like he had a sack last game. Watch out for him this week. You know what? Watch out for him this week.
Good stuff, Rob.
I got Brian Burns, Giants outside linebacker. Thursday Night Football, when I was watching it, that guy was in the backfield every other play and ended up finishing with 3 tackles, 4 assists, 2 sacks. So that Giants defense looked really good too. They get some good pressure on the quarterback, but individually, I saw Brian Burns just back in the backfield every other play.
Yeah, the defensive line's scary for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that team defensively is loaded. We always tend to kind of gloss over the Thursday night games, but definitely he was jumping off my screen as well. Great stuff, gentlemen. I want to talk briefly early MVP picks. We kind of fall in love with this conversation as the year goes on, but before we get into week 7 picks and we make our previews, I did want to just touch on the MVP talk a little bit briefly. What are you guys thinking about?
Yeah, so hold on. I'm looking up the odds right now just to see who's. I believe Mahomes is the favorite last time I checked.
Seriously?
Yeah, so Mahomes was, I believe,
That was
plus
right there.
150, And then Allen was second. I'm almost positive. Sorry.
I think
It's an award. Yeah, Mahomes is plus 175, and then Baker and Josh Allen are both tied at plus 300. And then next up, we have Mr. Drake May at plus 1,600.
oh baby.
We're on your bet.
So I'm biased. I'll say Drake May. But seriously, like it's been Baker so far, and I don't see how you can say anyone else other than Baker, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could say anyone else. He's fourth in passing yards. He's tied for third in touchdown passes. He's best interceptions, 108 passer rating. He's just putting the team on his back. I mean, that run he had to convert that third down, I'm like, is that Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell am I watching? But it's great because, I mean, we've talked about it. Like, he looked like he was – I mean, he went to waivers and got claimed by the Rams a couple of years ago. And then he hit free agency twice before he got signed long-term to the Bucs. So he's really figured it out. I mean, he's in a great situation right now, a little injury riddled, but I think once those guys are back and healthy, they're going to be churning and they're going to be difficult to beat, but got to get those guys healthy. And Baker's got to stay healthy. Don't make those runs too often, only when you need to.
So to touch on it, I guess it would like everyone. It's always a quarterback, but like, and it would have to be Baker. And I've watched Baker unwillingly for a lot of years because he was the Browns starting quarterback. And the only reason why he went into that whole like bouncing around team shit is because the Browns wanted to go with the creepo. You feel me?
Mhm.
Terrible.
And Baker didn't want to sit behind that, so he went through his woes. But he did have to learn. He was not that good in Carolina.
Nobody.
Now there was Darnold.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that tells you about the organization in itself. But Baker was also a 49er, wasn't he?
No, he's a Ram.
No, he was a Ram.
Yep.
Yeah, and he did decent at the Rams, so it makes you wonder, like, okay, but when he got to Tampa Bay, it's like the team was really given to him. You could kind of see, like, all right, this is your team now. Like, and those runs that you talk about, he make them runs all the time when he was in Cleveland. He was breaking the AFC North with that bullshit because he was like, he brought the Browns to their first playoffs in like how long, you know? So like you got to look at it. But if we're really talking about it, and I'm just gonna pick someone out the odds and to be different and go against the grain for MVP, it's got to be fucking Puka Nacua or Jackson Smith and Jigba because look what these guys are doing. Like the quarterbacks tossing them the ball, but they're catching it. They're running after the yards. Like they're doing this. Like you know what I'm saying. Like and when Puka went down, watch how that offense kind of like stagnated a little bit.
Fair point. Yeah, I mean that could be the case. We tend to gloss over skill position guys, but we don't really notice their plus minus, especially with a team like the Rams, where they're so centered around his production. I think that'll be an interesting kind of thing to monitor.
Saquon got it last year, right? MVP last year, or did he get offensive?
He got looks. Yeah, he got looks for MVP, but he won offensive.
It's corny because we don't look at and since we're talking about it, we don't look at skill players. We look at the quarterback and all this shit. And like Patrick Mahomes, like yeah, he's been playing good, but they've been losing games. Joe Burrow was in that conversation, and they were losing games. Like you know, we need to reevaluate this MVP process.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all fair points. You know, I mean, their struggles the first 4 weeks of the season can't be understated. You know, if you are the MVP, you should be able to make the most lemonade out of the least amount of lemons. And they had, you know, they had some injuries. But you know, if you're championship pedigree, you should be able to kind of bounce back. I mean, keeping with Rob and Mark, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I think it's clearly Baker until I'm proven otherwise as the season progresses for all the reasons that you guys mentioned. So I won't kind of belabor the point, but it'll be certainly an interesting, MVP race. It's a long season. We're about a third of the way there. I do have to give a little props to their first year OC, Josh Glizzard too, because when you come in and it's your first year as an offensive coordinator. Things don't hum this quick, so they're doing something right. There's some kind of proof in the pudding with what he's trying to do down in Tampa. So props to them. They haven't lost a division in 4 years, so they're going to keep it rolling. We're going to moving on. We're at about the hour mark here. Week 7 previews. I do want to start with Barr's team tomorrow night. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, as it stands, hold please. We have Steelers getting 5.5. The over/under is 44.5. What are your guys' thoughts on this game?
I'll go first, I guess. I think we win this game. But it could be a quick trap. We just got off a bye. We got that win, but then boom, we're into another. We're into a short week, into a second, like a back-to-back divisional game. So
Yep.
we got to look at that. So I do think we could win. I would rather take plus 3.5 over the. I mean, I would take the 5.5. I mean, the 3.5 over the 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Ultimately, I'd probably go with the Steelers for the money line though, just to stay away from anything else. Because this is a divisional game. It could while we have been playing really good and the Bengals secondary looks atrocious. We never know what could happen. The injuries have been plaguing everybody this season.
Yeah, I think the Steelers probably win this game, and it is an AFC North game, so those you never know with those. I could see it being like a close, low-scoring game, but kind of like we just talked about how much the Steelers were just getting after the Browns quarterback last week. I think it's going to be the same thing this week, where Flacco is going to be needing to get rid of that ball in 1.5, 2 seconds just to even get passes off. So I think the Steelers actually end up winning and covering.
And fun fact, we're not good on away games on Thursday night.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, I agree with Robert. I think the Steelers cover. They kind of continue their demolishing of the basement of the AFC North this week.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco's less mobile than Dylan Gabriel is. He's got the XP, but I just think they kind of continue to roll, and they get a nice mini bye after that, which will be good for them. And they're sitting pretty at the top of that division. And Cincinnati is grasping for anything, but I don't think they're going to really pick up much here. I think the Steelers cover.
I think the Steelers don't cover, but I think they get the win. And I think for the reasons that Bar's kind of agreed to, it's a chippy game. It's a road game. Sometimes Black Cats come out on Thursday nights. It just 5.5 seems like a lot, even for a very seamless pick like that. But I think that ultimately Pittsburgh pulls it out. Moving down the line, we got the Rams visiting Jacksonville over in London, across the pond to those bad teeth rootin' toots. Right now, the Rams are -3. The over/under is also 44.5. We mentioned the Nacua injury. There's a lot of other factors in this game with time and the road travel. What are your guys' thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I was talking about before, this is kind of a home game for the Jaguars because they do actually have a pretty big fan base in London, going there literally every years. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say I think the Jaguars pull this one out. I think they continue their very weird year of looking bad one week and then looking good the next week. So I'll keep with that trend and think the Jaguars win outright.
Okay.
I'm going to thread the needle here. I think the Rams win, but they don't cover. I think that Stafford is still the vet in the room. When you're comparing QBs, like I still take Stafford any day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like what Liam Cohen is doing in Jacksonville. I think he's figuring something out there. Travis Hunter's starting to get going, but I think the Rams are just they'll figure it out on the road. I think Devontae Adams is still there. Kyron Williams is still there. They got a lot of good young guys on defense. Jared Verse, Fisk in the middle, Byron Young. They got some guys now that they've actually drafted and then have to trade for and give up assets for. But yeah, I think the Rams take this one.
I'm at a cross of wanting to give it to the Rams and then wanting to see the Jags blow them out. But I'm gonna ultimately give it to Matthew Stafford and experience. But if I was a betting man, something's telling me to put something on the Jags because the Rams won't cover. But
This could be a pride game for Jacksonville. I mean, just with their slide and with the, it's a really perfect storm right now. I do ultimately think that the Rams will prevail, but and I think 3 is kind of where the line should be. I'm picturing kind of something close to a 27-24 type of game.
me too.
Yep.
23-26.
Yeah, I would definitely take the over in that 44.5, but I think the margin is right. Moving on, we got the Eagles visiting Minnesota. Where we got a 4 o'clock game. Yeah, 4 o'clock game up there in Minnesota right now. The spread is 1.5 for Philadelphia. The over under is 43.5. Guys, where are we at with this one?
Who was it? Philly versus who?
Philly, Minnesota. It's a 1 o'clock. My apologies.
Oh, this sounds crazy, yo. I think Philly stays on that losing streak, but they lose by like a field goal, yo. So like I'm looking
Yeah.
at 2017.
I actually like that because if Carson Wentz is still the quarterback for the Vikings, like this could be low-key his revenge game that he's been waiting for.
Yeah.
So now McCarthy might play, although it seems like it's going to be Wentz, what I'm looking at right now. But I actually think Vikings by a field goal. That sounds good.
Like I would let Wentz go out there, and once he starts fucking up, go ahead and get McCarthy out there. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, rest McCarthy as long as you can to make sure you're sending him out there as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I actually didn't even realize that, Robert. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Minnesota is a tough place to play. I mean, it gets loud in that dome, but I think it's desperation time for the Eagles. And I think they're going to have some tough meetings this week and figure out what's been going on. And I think the Vikings are vulnerable. They're not the same team that they were last year.
100%.
I still think the Eagles are elite in the NFC, so I think they figure it out even on the road.
Yeah, very interesting game. Possibly the most interesting game of the weekend, in my humble opinion. We got the Colts visiting the LA Chargers. Right now, it's 1.5 for the Chargers at home. 4 o'clock game. Over under is 48.5, so it's looking like a shootout. Personally, I tend to agree. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I love Indianapolis visiting the Chargers, but what say you guys? What do you think?
I agree. I think it's gonna be a shootout as well. I'll take the points. I'll take the points on it. But I ultimately give this one to Danny Dimes because I feel like this man has really truly emerged. Like he's really coming to and I don't want to say like he's like shooting the lights out, but like he's managing a football team.
Yep.
And he's doing it with great pace and limited turnovers.
That's the key.
And because and on top of that, he's just playing his game. I literally think they're not they trust Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Colts end up winning this game and it being a pretty easy win for them. I was going to mention before when we were having MVP talks, like if we're talking like non-quarterback MVPs, you would throw Jonathan Taylor up there well, man. That guy has been unreal this year. That guy, I mean, him and Bijan have been very clearly the 2 best running backs in the NFL this year. So I think the Colts end up winning this game, and it's a relatively stress-free win for them as well.
What year was that Jonathan Taylor was running up and down the league?
I think it was like 2 years ago. It wasn't last year.
I thought it was 21.
Maybe,
I thought it was
21.
Yeah.
Because he had an injury that sat him down for like a year and a half.
Right.
Yo, look, Garrett, he's running like a man possessed, like a bat out of hell. Like he's running like 2021 Jonathan Taylor, like MVP, candidate Jonathan Taylor. He's doing it.
Yeah, he's had an insane bounce back, and I think. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think the you include him with really a stacked roster. I mean, they have guys everywhere. They have Pittman, they have Downs, they have Tyler Warren. Oh
Is
my
Pierce
goodness.
back?
What's that?
Is Pierce back?
Yeah.
Alec Pierce is back.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, they impressed me on offense. Shane Steichen really has that team going. I mean,
Don't
he
sleep
was
on that tight end room.
yeah, I said Tyler Warren. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're arguably the most surprising team in the league this year. I think they're fixing to have a home playoff game, and I'm definitely taking them in this game if they're getting points.
Yeah, yeah, they certainly are, and I think people are a little bloviated about the Chargers. I think the Colts are nothing to sneeze at. They're a really well-oiled machine that's upsetting everybody. So, moving on, NFC East rivalry matchup. We got the Washington Commanders going into Dallas right now. Commanders 2.5 points. The over/under is set at 54. Wow. So another shootout we're set to be. Personally, I love Washington playing spoiler in this game. I think that Daniels is getting his legs back slowly but surely. I think they're ready to play spoil on Dak, and I think it'll be actually pretty convincing. I'm expecting like a 31-21 kind of game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an insane shootout, and Commanders coming off that heartbreaking loss to the Bears. I it's going to depend whether CD plays this week or not for me, because I think that Cowboys offense, when they do have CD Lamb out there, is up there with the best in the league. I mean, Pickens has been really good these last couple of weeks without CD there. And maybe that's kind of what they needed, just to get Pickens more involved in the offense, build some of that trust with Dak. And now when you add CD back into it, I I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. I think that the Cowboys end up winning an absolute shootout in this game.
Yeah, I think the over/under definitely indicates this is going to be a shootout here, and Cowboys playing at home definitely helps. Pickens looked insane last week, just hurdling people. It's like he very just clearly stepped into the number one role, no problem with CD gone. But yeah, if CD's back, then watch out. Yeah, definitely a heartbreaker for Washington last week. I don't know if I see them as NFC championship material this year. And I think the Cowboys have really kind of exceeded my expectations of them from week one on. Defensively, not so much, but offensively, they can keep up with anyone. And I think they figure it out here.
I think both these teams freaking suck right now. But, nah, I'm just being honest. Like, that Commanders defense is not what it was last year. Frankie Louvu looks a step slower. Marshawn Lattimore is like definitely old now. I just don't think that they have the secondary to stand up to those Cowboys receivers.
Yep.
I don't know what Turpin's been doing, but I feel like Turpin's gonna have a big game.
Good,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna give this one to the Cowboys, ultimately. I wanna put it in Jaden Daniels' hands, but after that loss, I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys. And didn't the Cowboys just come off a loss too?
Yeah, to the Panthers.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, they're not gonna take that. They're not gonna take that one sitting down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a lot on the line for, there's a lot of questions in the NFC East right now, and that's something that we don't really discuss too much on the show. And I think it's worth, revisiting down the line. I think that this is too big a game for either team to really pass up if they want to stay contentious. And I think Washington, if they have hopes to make the playoffs again, I think they need to win this game. I really do. I really do. Possibly one of the other best games of the weekend, we have Tampa visiting Detroit. Right now, the Lions are set at 5.5. 52.5 is the over under. So again, another high scoring game prepared on the books. Baker's going into Detroit. This is a similar game that we saw in the playoff game a couple of years back. Has all the earmarks of a big score, high scoring game, a shootout. What do you guys think? What are your predictions?
Yeah, I got the I got the Lions in this one. I think that these injuries just end up catching the Bucks a little bit too much, and with the Lions losing as well in the fashion they did, I think Campbell's going to have them ready to go for this one. So I think the Lions win this one, and I think they cover, but it's only by a touchdown.
I think this is a blowout. I think I agree with Robert. The injuries catch up, but I think this is a blowout. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm Jameer Gibbs 2 touchdowns, David Montgomery a touchdown, Amon Ross St. Brown like 120 yards and a touchdown. I feel like Jameson Williams like 2 catches, 90 yards and a touchdown. I feel like the Lions are gonna flex. This is a divisional win or a divisional game. You know what I'm saying? This could be a playoff matchup. So who knows? They're gonna have to show out to come back from that big loss. At the same time, like it's not like Baker went that whole game without his star player. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point he went down. Let's see Baker start the game with nobody to throw to, with no help running the ball, and let's see how that game goes.
Yeah, I kind of see the Lions taking this one too, just because of the injury situation. Get it's just not ideal timing right now, and the Lions, they need to bounce back, and it's hard to play in Detroit in that dome, and yeah, I think the Bucks might have a down week, but once they start getting their three guys back, I think they'll be back on schedule, winning games.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Can't disagree. I think that Detroit has a bounce back game. My heart says Tampa, my brain says Detroit, and I think that defensive front four is alive and electric at home. I think they're just a better team all around at home, as most are. But there's something about that environment in Detroit at Ford Field, similar to Seattle, where that home fan base really takes elevation, really takes shape, and I think that it's going to carry them with some momentum. Just to round out the weekend, the follow up game to that Monday night is Houston going to visit Seattle. So we just talked about the other electric fan base, but right now Houston, I think they're getting. I haven't even looked at the spread. I'm sorry, but Houston going
Seahawks minus 3.5.
is it 3.5? Okay,
Yeah.
I almost said 4.5, but 3.5. Yep. So Seattle 3.5. Do you have the over under on that too?
Yeah, over under is 41.5.
41.5. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, Houston is a great defense. They kind of put it on, a weakling Baltimore team, in the weeks past. Seattle looks like they're going to continue their hot streak. I really like Seattle in this game to take care of business. And Houston drops another game in that division.
I feel this is going to be a lot of air yards, but come down to ultimately a field goal, which a lot of those Houston games come down to. But I think Houston gets the upset here.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game. I mean, the Seahawks, even though they did get the win, they did only score 20 points against the Jags. And the Texans have a really good defense, an elite
Yeah.
defense. And so their problem has been their offense this year. So I could see this being like a 2017 game.
Yep.
I do still think the Seahawks pull it out, in my opinion, but I think Texans cover.
Is Mixon still out?
It's a good question.
He is.
He's not on the. He is, yeah.
That's their problem. While Nick Chubb was a great rusher, that injury
Yeah.
set him back a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and, like he's not up there anymore. Like,
Do
so
it.
like their offense suffers from that running game threat. Because Joe Mixon provided a good threat on the ground, and then boom, got the receivers open to do stuff. Like I feel like Nico Collins isn't having that good year like he had last year.
Yeah, Nico's definitely having a down year. I mean, their defense, one of the top in the league, but I've just been unimpressed with them so far. Beating the Titans, beating the Lamar-less Ravens,
Same.
that's all you got right now. So I think Seattle continues their kind of rampage, you could say, at home. And I think Darnold's going to air it out over that defense. He's looking great. And Jackson Smith and Jigba too.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it seems like CJ's somewhat regressed in a way because rookie year, I mean, people are saying this guy's a top 5 quarterback.
Yep.
Why did the Panthers take Bryce Young over CJ Stroud? But now it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't so clear cut. But yeah, I have Seattle covering this game.
Great stuff, guys. I thank you for your time. We got another weekend of football in the ahead of us. That's going to be really exciting. I'm really excited about a lot of these games, and I know you are too. Everybody, before we go, tell us where our audience can find you if you'd like to plug anything.
Well,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry. Well, it's your boy CJ, but you can find me on IG. It's Godzilla, ITZGAWDZILLA. Or you can find me at Y'all Boys Media. Check out the content, like, subscribe, follow, do all of that.
Good stuff.
Just the art. I'll just plug ours. The yards after the catch. You should like and subscribe. Go ahead and like, subscribe, send it to your friend, send it to your mom. Watch it while you fall asleep, just so we can get some views. So
hit that subscribe button on your grandma's phone. Come on,
Listen to us on Spotify while you ignore everything else. Just do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, just shoot us the numbers. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at mark.howes1, Mark with a C, HOWES 1. And also plug the Yards After the Catch podcast, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
plug the Yak podcast, man.
I want to thank Mark for a good week 1 on the show. Did a great job. He'll definitely be back in the rotation. We're excited to have him back. For myself, I'm spread out a little all over the place. Pardon Will podcast. I'm a co-host, Union of the Unwanted member as well. My Instagram is abreniello. Check out where my events are coming up and where I'll be in a town near you. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you again next soon. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.